The church bells tolled ominously as Blake knelt before Jamie, the ring glinting under the stained glass light, his voice barely above a whisper amid the shocked gasps of the congregation. In that moment, what was meant to be a declaration of love turned into a spark that ignited a firestorm, ripping through families and friendships like wildfire. No one could have predicted that a simple proposal would unearth buried secrets, forcing Blake to confront the demons of his hidden life. Blake had always been the golden boy of Willow Creek, a quaint town in rural Ohio where traditions ran deeper than the roots of the ancient oaks lining Main Street. At 28, he was the reliable son, the one who took over his father's hardware store after the old man retired, the guy everyone counted on for a helping hand. But beneath that facade, Blake harbored a truth that gnawed at him daily. He was gay, and Jamie was the love he'd kept secret for 3 years. Jamie, a 26-year-old teacher from the next town over, had moved to Willow Creek for a fresh start after his own coming-out story in college left him estranged from his conservative parents. They met at a community book club, bonding over shared interests in literature that masked deeper connections. Jamie was open about his sexuality, wearing it like a badge of honor, while Blake lived in fear of judgment. "One day, you'll see it's worth it," Jamie would say during their stolen moments in hidden parks or late-night drives. But Blake wasn't convinced. His family was everything to him. His parents, Martha and Robert, were pillars of the community, church elders, volunteers at every town event. Martha baked pies for fundraisers and Robert coached Little League. They raised Blake and his younger sister, Emily, with values straight from the Bible. Hard work, family first, and a strict moral code that left no room for deviation. Coming out wasn't an option. It was a betrayal. That fateful Sunday, Blake had planned the proposal meticulously. The church was packed for the annual harvest service, a time when the whole town gathered. He thought proposing there would symbolize his commitment, blending his love for Jamie with the life he'd always known. As he pulled out the ring, Jamie's eyes widened in surprise and joy. But the murmurs started immediately. "What the hell is this?" someone whispered. Heads turned, and Blake's heart pounded. By the time the service ended, the news had spread like gossip at a bake sale. Martha pulled Blake aside in the parking lot, her face pale. "Is this some kind of joke, Blakehander? Tell me it's a prank." Robert stood silent, his fists clenched. Emily, 24 and freshly engaged herself, looked at him with confusion. "Blake, what's going on?" That evening, the family dinner turned into an interrogation. Seated around the oak table that had seen countless holidays, Martha's voice trembled. "We've raised you right. This isn't you. It's that boy influencing you." Robert slammed his fork down. "You're throwing away everything we've built. The store, our reputation, people will talk. They'll boycott us." Blake tried to explain, his words tumbling out. "Mom, Dad, I love him. I've always been this way. Hiding it is killing me." But their faces hardened. Martha wept, quoting scriptures about sin and redemption. Robert stormed out, muttering about how he'd failed as a father. Jamie waited at their apartment, a small rental on the outskirts of town. When Blake arrived, defeated, Jamie pulled him into a hug. "We knew it wouldn't be easy, but we're in this together." Yet Blake felt the weight of his choices pressing down. That night, as they lay in bed, he wondered if love was worth the impending storm. The next day, the backlash began. At the hardware store, regular customers avoided eye contact. Old Mr. Harlan, a lifelong patron, shook his head. "Heard about your stunt."
Disappointing, son.
Sales dipped, whispers followed Blake down the aisles. He pushed through, focusing on inventory, but each ring of the bell brought dread. Emily called, her voice hesitant. "I support you, Blake, but Mom and Dad are devastated. They're talking about cutting you out of the will." The words stung. Emily had always been his ally, but now she was torn, her own wedding plans overshadowed by the family rift. Jamie faced his own trials at school. Parents complained to the principal, questioning if a man like him should teach their kids. "It's not about his teaching," one mother said at a PTA meeting. "It's about morals." Jamie defended himself, but the stares from colleagues made every day a battle. As weeks passed, Blake's internal conflict deepened. He loved Jamie, but the pressure mounted. Late nights, he'd stare at the ceiling, replaying his parents' words. Was he selfish for pursuing happiness at their expense? Or was hiding his truth the real betrayal? One evening, Robert showed up at the apartment unannounced. His face was etched with lines Blake hadn't noticed before. "Son, we need to talk." They sat on the porch, the autumn air crisp. Robert spoke of his own youth pressures to conform. "I get it more than you think. But this town, it'll eat you alive." For a moment, Blake saw vulnerability, but Robert ended with an ultimatum. "End this or don't come home." Blake's heart shattered. He returned inside, Jamie waiting. "What did he say?" Jamie asked. Blake hesitated, the words catching in his throat. In that moment he made a decision that would haunt him. He lied. Nothing important. But the seed of doubt was planted. The tension escalated when a local newspaper ran a story. Local man's church proposal sparks debate on tradition. Comments online were vicious, calling it an affront to family values. Blake scrolled through them, each one a dagger. Jamie urged him to fight back, but Blake withdrew, questioning everything. By the end of the month, the store was struggling. Suppliers delayed shipments after hearing rumors. Blake faced a choice: close shop or beg for help. He chose the latter, approaching his father. Robert agreed, but with conditions. "Prove you're still our son. Distance yourself from that lifestyle." Torn, Blake agreed partially, skipping dates with Jamie to help at family events. Jamie noticed hurt flashing in his eyes. "Are you ashamed of us?" The question lingered, unanswered. As the first file of their story unfolded, the cracks in Blake's world widened, setting the stage for deeper betrayals. The winter chill settled over Willow Creek like a shroud, mirroring the frost in Blake's relationships. He found himself pulling away from Jamie, using work as an excuse, but the truth was fear. Fear of losing his family, his home, his identity in the town. Each day, the internal tug-of-war grew fiercer, decisions weighing like anchors. Jamie confronted him one snowy evening in their apartment. The fireplace crackled, but the warmth couldn't penetrate the cold between them. "Blake, we can't keep pretending everything's fine. Your family's demands are tearing us apart." Jamie's voice was steady, but his eyes betrayed the pain. Blake sighed, running a hand through his hair. "It's temporary. Once things calm down, it'll be better." But things didn't calm. Martha organized a family intervention, inviting the pastor and close relatives. They gathered in the living room, Bibles open. The pastor spoke of redemption, urging Blake to seek counseling. "This is a phase, son. God can heal you." Blake sat there, fists clenched, feeling like a criminal on trial. Emily whispered support, but her fiancé, a local banker named Tom, nodded along with the others, his conservative views aligning with the family's. That night, Blake broke down with Jamie. "They think I'm broken. Maybe I am." Jamie held him, whispering affirmations. "You're not. They're the ones who need to change." Yet Blake's resolve wavered. He started attending church more, hoping to bridge the gap, but each sermon on traditional marriage felt like a personal attack. At work, a new challenge arose. A group of townsfolk, led by a vocal councilman named Harlan, Mr. Harlan's son, started a petition against promoting alternative lifestyles in local businesses. They targeted the hardware store, claiming Blake's actions undermined community values. Sales plummeted further, forcing Blake to lay off his only employee, a loyal friend named Mike. Mike, upon hearing the reason, paused. "Man, I don't care who you love, but this town's tough." His departure hit Blake hard, a reminder of the collateral damage. Jamie suggested moving away, starting fresh in a bigger city like Columbus. "We could be free there," but Blake resisted. "This is my home. I can't just run." The conflict peaked at Emily's engagement party. The family home was decorated festively, guests mingling. Blake arrived alone as per his mother's request, no Jamie. Whispers followed him. Tom pulled him aside. Look, Blake, Emily's worried. This drama's stealing her thunder. Think about her. Guilt gnawed at Blake. He watched Emily laugh with friends, her joy untainted. That night he called Jamie. I need space to figure things out. Jamie's silence was deafening. Space? Or an out? The call ended in tears, Jamie feeling betrayed. Alone, Blake grappled with his choices. Was preserving family worth sacrificing love? He visited the pastor privately, seeking guidance, but left more confused. The man's words echoed, sometimes, we must choose the greater good. Meanwhile, Jamie threw himself into work, but the school's atmosphere grew hostile. A parent filed a formal complaint, accusing him of indoctrinating students. The principal, sympathetic but pressured, suggested Jamie take leave. It's for your safety. Jamie refused, standing his ground at a board meeting. My personal life doesn't affect my teaching. This is discrimination. Word got back to Blake, who felt responsible. He reached out, but Jamie was distant. You chose them over us. The accusation stung because it held truth. As spring approached, the petition gained traction. Harlan confronted Blake at the store. Step down or we'll force you out. Blake stood tall. This is my father's legacy. I won't. But inside, doubt festered. In a moment of desperation, Blake confided in Emily. They met at a coffee shop outside town. I love Jamie, but Mom and Dad, they're everything. Emily hugged him. They love you too. Give them time. But her words offered little solace. The turning point came when Robert suffered a minor heart scare. At the hospital, Martha blamed the stress on Blake. Your choices are killing him. Blake, overwhelmed, promised to fix things. He broke up with Jamie that week, citing irreconcilable differences. Jamie's face crumpled. You're letting them win. Blake walked away, heart in pieces. The aftermath was brutal. Jamie left town temporarily, staying with friends. Blake threw himself into the store, but loneliness consumed him. Friends distanced themselves, torn between loyalties. Mike returned briefly, offering support. You did what you thought was right, but was it? Blake questioned his decision daily. The family seemed relieved. Martha smiled more. Robert recovered. But at what cost? Emily's wedding planning proceeded, but she noticed Blake's hollow eyes. Are you happy? She asked. He lied. Yes. Yet cracks appeared. Robert, in a rare moment, admitted, I miss the old you. Blake realized the old him was a lie. The internal storm raged, decisions haunting him. As the second file closed, Blake's world teetered, betrayals deepening the wounds. Summer heat baked Willow Creek, amplifying the simmering tensions in Blake's life. With Jamie gone, Blake buried himself in routine, but the void was palpable. Each empty evening reminded him of the price paid for family approval. Yet approval felt hollow, laced with unspoken judgments. Emily's wedding loomed, a beacon of normalcy for the family. Blake helped with preparations, painting smiles over his pain. At the rehearsal dinner, toasts flowed, but when it was his turn, words stuck. To love that endures, he managed, thinking of Jamie. Unbeknownst to Blake, Jamie hadn't fully left. He returned quietly, fighting the school board's decision. At a town hall meeting, he spoke passionately. Discrimination has no place here. I'm a teacher, not a threat. Supporters emerged, younger residents, a few allies, but opposition was fierce. Harlan shouted, We don't need your kind influencing our kids. Blake heard about it from Mike, who urged him to attend. Stand up for him. But fear held Blake back. Instead, he watched from afar, heart aching. The family noticed his distraction. Martha probed, You're better now, right? Without that influence. Blake nodded, but resentment built. How could they dismiss his love so easily? A surprise came when Jamie texted, Need to talk. Park, midnight. Blake went, curiosity overriding caution. Under the stars, Jamie looked weary. I'm fighting for my job, but I miss you. Was it all a lie? Blake confessed his turmoil. I thought it was right, but it's destroying me. They parted with a hug, unresolved emotions swirling. This rekindled spark ignited conflict. Blake began secretly meeting Jamie, rationalizing it as closure. But feelings resurfaced, complicating everything. One night they argued. You betrayed us, Jamie said. For what? Acceptance that's conditional? Blake defended. They're my family. Jamie retorted. So am I. The secrecy weighed on Blake. He confided in Emily, who was shocked. You're playing with fire. If Mom finds out. But Emily, facing her own doubts about Tom, his controlling nature, empathized. Follow your heart, Blake. Disaster struck when Harlan spotted them together. The next day, the petition intensified, now calling for a boycott of the store. Customers vanished. Bills piled up. Robert confronted Blake. I heard rumors. Is it true? Blake admitted partially. We're just talking. Robert's face reddened. After everything? You're choosing sin over us. The fallout was swift. Martha stopped speaking to him. Emily mediated, but tensions escalated at the wedding. During the ceremony, as Emily walked the aisle, Blake felt isolated. At the reception, Tom drunkenly cornered him. You're ruining her day with your drama. Blake snapped. My life isn't drama. It's real. Word spread, guests whispering. Harlan approached Robert. See? It's tearing families apart. Robert, defending his son instinctively, shoved Harlan. Chaos ensued, the party ending in shouts. Blake left early, driving to Jamie's. I can't do this anymore. They talked till dawn, Jamie urging honesty. Come out fully, or lose yourself. Inspired, Blake planned to address the town. But betrayal loomed. Unbeknownst, Tom, jealous of Emily's bond with Blake, leaked details to Harlan about the secret meetings. Harlan used it at a council meeting, accusing Blake of deceit. The store was vandalized that night. Windows smashed, slurs painted. Blake arrived to the mess, devastated. Police investigated, but suspicions pointed to Harlan's group. Robert showed up, helping clean. This is wrong, he said softly. For the first time, doubt crept into his voice. Jamie rallied support online, a petition for equality gaining traction. Younger townsfolk joined, challenging old norms. Blake saw hope, but the damage was done. Internally, Blake wrestled with morality. Was reconnecting with Jamie right or selfish? The choices blurred, each carrying consequences. Emily confronted Tom about the leak, their relationship straining. If you can't accept my brother, how can we marry? Tom apologized, but trust eroded. As autumn neared, Blake faced a crossroads. The store teetered on closure. He met with suppliers pleading his case. Some sympathized, others withdrew. In a pivotal moment, Blake visited his parents. I love Jamie. That's who I am. Martha cried. Robert listened. We've lost sight of love, Robert admitted. A crack in the armor. But healing was slow. Jamie and Blake reconciled tentatively, aware of fragility. Fall leaves carpeted Willow Creek, symbolizing change amid the ongoing turmoil. Blake's confession to his parents marked a shift, but wounds festered. Robert's admission opened dialogue, yet Martha struggled, her faith clashing with love for her son. The vandalism investigation stalled. No arrests. Harlan denied involvement, but suspicion lingered. Blake rebuilt the store, community dividing, some offered help, others boycotted. Jamie won his case at school, reinstated with conditions. No personal discussions, the board ruled. He accepted, but resentment simmered. With Blake, they navigated cautiously, dates discreet. Emily postponed her wedding, citing stress. Tom pushed back. It's because of your brother. Their arguments escalated, Emily questioning her choices. I won't marry someone who can't accept my family. Blake supported her, their sibling bond strengthening. You've always had my back. Now I have yours. Emily confided her fears. Tom's not who I thought. Controlling, judgmental. The family gathered for Thanksgiving, tension thick. Martha set an extra plate for Jamie, a tentative olive branch. Jamie arrived nervous, conversations awkward. Robert asked about his job, Martha complimented his pie. Small steps but progress. Yet outside, pressure mounted. Harlan organized a rally against moral decay, targeting Blake and Jamie. Signs read, "Protect our values." Counter-protesters emerged, led by Mike and young activists. Clashes occurred, police intervening. Blake spoke at the rally, voice steady. "Love isn't a threat. It's what binds us." Cheers and boos mixed. Jamie stood beside him, proud. The event made local news, polarizing the town further. Backlash hit hard. Anonymous threats arrived, calls, letters. Blake installed security, fear creeping in. "Is this worth it?" he asked Jamie. "Yes," Jamie replied. "Freedom always is." Internally, Blake reflected on sacrifices. Losing customers, straining family, each a price for authenticity. But glimpses of acceptance fueled him. Martha attended a support group for parents of LGBTQ+ children, suggested by the pastor who, surprisingly, evolved. "Love thy neighbor," he preached now. Martha shared her journey, tears flowing. "I fear losing my son." Robert joined Blake at the store, helping stock shelves. "I was wrong to push you away." Father-son talks deepened, Robert revealing his own suppressed dreams. "I wanted to be an artist, but duty called." Emily broke off with Tom after discovering his role in the leak. "He betrayed us." Alone, she focused on self, volunteering for equality causes. As winter approached, a major confrontation brewed. Harlan sued the store for defamation after Blake's speech implied his involvement in vandalism. Lawyers advised settling, but Blake refused. Truth matters. The trial became a town spectacle. Witnesses testified, Mike for Blake, others for Harlan. Evidence emerged. A leaked email from Tom to Harlan. Tom admitted under oath, "I was angry." The case dismissed, but reputations tarnished. Harlan faced backlash, his council seat threatened. Tom left town, shamed. Emily found peace, dating anew. For Blake and Jamie, victory was bittersweet. The ordeal strengthened their bond, but scars remained. Blake proposed again, privately this time. "Will you marry me? For real?" Jamie accepted. Tears of joy. Family reactions varied. Martha hugged them. "I'm trying." Robert shook Jamie's hand. "Welcome to the family." The town shifted slowly. More allies emerged, businesses displaying pride flags. But old prejudices lingered, a reminder of ongoing battles. Blake pondered the costs, broken relationships, financial strain, emotional toll. Yet growth emerged, personal, familial, communal. With spring's renewal, Willow Creek buzzed with cautious optimism. Blake and Jamie's engagement announcement was low-key, shared with close circles. The hardware store rebounded, loyal customers returning, new ones drawn by the story of resilience. Martha baked for their engagement dinner, a family affair. Conversations flowed easier, laughter genuine. "I'm proud of you," she told Blake. Robert raised a toast. "To new beginnings." Emily, thriving single, beamed. "You deserve this." But not all was smooth. Lingering whispers at church, occasional stares. Jamie's school monitored him closely, but he excelled, inspiring students subtly. The wedding planning highlighted mended bonds. Emily helped choose venues, Robert offered the backyard. "Make it yours." Martha sewed decorations, symbolizing acceptance. Yet internal reflections persisted. Blake journaled his journey. The initial proposals: shock, breakups, betrayals, trials. Each decision carried weight, choosing love over conformity, truth over silence. The prices: lost friends, strained finances, emotional scars. But gains: authenticity, stronger family, community change. Jamie faced his own demons, forgiving Blake's wavering. "We both paid dearly, but it's made us unbreakable." A final challenge arose: Harlan's appeal for his seat, campaigning on traditional values. Blake and Jamie countered with a community forum, discussing equality. Debates were heated, but dialogue opened minds. Harlan lost narrowly, a sign of progress. On wedding day, the backyard bloomed. Guests included allies, family, even the pastor officiating. Vows exchanged, rings slipped on amid cheers. No shocks this time, only joy. Post-wedding, life normalized. Blake expanded the store, Jamie advanced in teaching. Family holidays included everyone, bonds deeper. Yet Blake often wondered about the paths not taken. If he'd stayed hidden, would pain be avoided? Or would suppression destroy him inwardly? The town evolved, pride events starting small. Young people came out, inspired by their story. In quiet moments, Blake and Jamie reflected. Was it all worth the fight? Jamie asked. Blake nodded. Every tear, every battle. Their story, rich with drama, showcased the human cost of societal change. The internal conflicts, family pressures, moral dilemmas, betrayals, and awakenings. But in the end, was sacrificing personal peace for authenticity the right choice? Or does society demand too high a price for love?